My name is Emily Couture, and my husband and I own the gym Xtreme Couture MMA here in Las Vegas, and we have been using Wodify for about a year and a half now.
My dad, Randy Couture, relocated to Vegas from Portland, Oregon area. Up there, he had founded one of the early, true MMA training facilities where they put everything together all in one building and really trained specifically for the sport of MMA. Here in Vegas, there wasn't really a spot that had everything under one roof, so, Xtreme Couture was born. Running Xtreme Couture for me is, obviously, first and foremost, carrying forward my family's legacy, and it's a huge responsibility and a huge honor. It's also a way for me to stay involved and stay connected to the sport of mixed martial arts, even though I can't compete anymore. I had my last fight in 2018 and really kind of dove into having more of a say in how the business was run. And in 2020 was when Dad decided it was time for me to take over and start running the show myself.
The brand was built on Randy and his fight career, and it had all this power behind it, right? This recognizable name and all of this fame behind it. But that doesn't carry a business. At some point, the legacy needs to be handed off to a longevity of business ownership. And that's where we came in.
When we first took over right in the middle of the pandemic, during lockdown, we weren't even allowed to be open.
Yeah, we took over legal ownership at the height of COVID with the doors closed because we couldn't legally operate. We had to figure out, how do we make this work for us in a way that's manageable? And how do we get some software and some tech that's going to help us keep track of all of these members and keep track of what dues are owed, because that's what's paying our bills. And we needed to find something to kind of help in that transition, because it was a big undertaking when we took this on in a time where it was very rough to be a business owner.
Yeah, in some ways, I think was a blessing that there was so much less going on here, because it gave me time to really dive into the systems and, figure out what was working and what wasn't. We had some different phases we went through and different things we tried that, sort of fit the bill and sort of didn't. And eventually, it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago now, I came across Wodify, and I've been super happy with what that's done on the member management side of things and how it ties in with everything else that we do here.
When we were looking at transitioning our member management system into something that was going to be more user-friendly for not only the members, but us on the back end, I was at home, I had little kids, and we needed something that I can log in and I can see, okay, what are the outstanding invoices and what, this inventory report, and, oh, we need to add a different class, or we need to change this. We can all do that really easy from home. And it kind of allowed us to succeed not only as business owners, but as parents too, because we didn't have to be physically here on property doing everything, because it was just chaos all the time. One of the things for me that honestly was a selling point was that I could figure it out with minimal intervention on Wodify's end, right? I think Wodify is so user friendly and it's so intuitive. It was a cleaner look. I think that the communication that we had with the Wodify team early on was instrumental. It was so important to us, because any question they had, they met with answers, prompt responses, and they really allowed us to fumble with the system, figure it out for ourselves, customize it to what fits our needs, because not every business is the same, right? Not everybody has the same check-in process or the same class schedule and the same requirements. And I think that Wodify allowed us to kind of mold it to what fit for us. And that allowed us to not only have a family and still work from home, but make it easier and better to keep track of all things business-wise.
I think it's a big help too that so many of the staff that we've worked with and our onboarding process are all people who came up working in gyms and then got linked up with Wodify through that. So they've had a lot of the same experiences and had a lot of good insight for us.
When we reach out to Wodify, a real person responds to us, and it's somebody that we've most likely met and that we've at least corresponded with via email.
Anything we've run up against that was an issue, the scale of our facility, we've got, I think, 5 or 6 different doors that people can come through. So figuring out how to get the check-in process right when we can't funnel everybody just through the front desk and make them stop and check in before they get access to the gym. There's so many ways to get in here. So finding workarounds for that, we really were grateful for the experience that the Wodify team had being in our shoes, that they were able to bring to bear on solving some of those problems.
The gym has grown so much that we've actually run out of parking, and it's a great problem to have, but Wodify has actually grown with us, and I think that the fact that they've been able to help us reach that goal And I think that Wodify's, the tools that have been available to us that we've been able to use and implement towards member retention and really being able to communicate, because that's the number one thing that was missing before we kind of got involved, was this member to ownership management kind of communication. And with this Wodify system, people will send us a message and say, hey, can you put my membership on hold? I'm going through, I lost my job, or I'm going to be out of town, or whatever. Ryan and I often are the ones who are responding to them. Wodify's allowed us to really have that kind of one-on-one connection with everybody who comes through the door. And I think that's made a huge difference.
I think from our very first interaction with Wodify at Jiu-Jitsu-Con on through the onboarding process and to this day, just the personal care and attention that we've received, the way that Wodify puts the founders first, and really any need that we have that comes up, they're prompt and truly thoughtful about addressing it. From onboarding and training and making sure that we felt confident moving forward with the software, that we knew what we needed to know to apply it in our business, to any little support issue that comes up that I send an email about. The response is prompt, super helpful. Really have had zero complaints. I've been so happy with the service that we've received, and have made friends with a lot of the people that we've worked with through Wodify. So it has just been a fantastic experience from start to now.